Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about something that's good for young electricians that don't have a lot of troubleshooting experience, homeowners, do-it-yourselfers, handyman, maintenance guys, people that just don't have a lot of experience with troubleshooting as a whole. I want to talk to you about replacing light fixtures and what to look for when you replace a fixture. So I can't tell you how many times I have done service on fixtures over the years, in my younger years when I was less experienced. And you go out and the customer wants you to replace the fixture and you don't ask any questions, you just replace the fixture. And put the fixture in, test it out, lights turn on, everyone's happy, high fives, and go home. You think the job's done. And then the next day or a week later, you get a call because the fixture's not working again. Brand new fixture. And so this is why, even in other videos, I have suggested that you ask a lot of questions before you do any kind of work for someone. If it's new construction, it's totally different, but if we're talking about doing service and a customer has a problem, you have to ask questions about the problem so you can get an idea of what's causing the problem before you do any work. A lot of non-electricians, people that just don't have a lot of experience with technical things, they see problems, they see the symptoms as the source of the problem they need to get corrected. And with lighting, a lot of people think that, this is a pretty common example, they have light bulbs that they have to replace a lot. Well, they keep replacing bulbs because they think that the bulbs are bad, or they bought cheap bulbs. When guys that have been around long enough know that if you have a bulb that's burning out often in a fixture, that there's another issue at hand. And so the same thing, particularly with fixtures nowadays that are electronic, LED, or even fluorescent. If you have the light, in the case of LEDs, or the fixture or the bulbs that are burning out often, just replacing the fixture doesn't always help. Sometimes it could if you have a fluorescent fixture or an LED driver that's bad, which is possible, especially with newer LED. If they're cheap imports, the drivers in them could be cheap or bad. With fluorescents, you can have a ballast that's bad on them. The ballast itself could be replaceable depending on the fixture. But to someone that hasn't been around a while, they just think, well, just replace bulbs and then everything's fine. And then they find out, in a couple more days after they do that the light bulbs go out again. And so it could be the same thing with incandescent bulbs, actually. The same thing could occur. So, like I say, many, many times over the years, I've replaced fixtures for people because I was in a hurry, or I didn't ask the right questions, or it was a bigger project, or the customer was sure they know what the problem is, or they didn't say there was a problem, they just wanted new fixtures. And you go replace the fixtures and you find out that part of the issue with them wanting to replace the fixture was that the bulbs or the fixture itself was burning bulbs out or going through bulbs quite often. So what's the issue here? Well, it could be that when you replace the fixture, the problem is resolved if the problem is in the driver or ballast or LED itself, or you bought cheap bulbs, or if it's in the wiring of the fixture that's replaced, including in the junction box where that fixture is mounted to. So sometimes it could fix the problem, but just replacing a fixture because bulbs are burning out often doesn't mean that that problem is going to go away. So the problem is not always just in the fixture. In fact, I wouldn't, if I knew the issue with a customer wanted to replace a light fixture because the bulbs were burning out, I would not assume that the problem would go away once the fixture was replaced. I'd ask other questions like, are there other fixtures in the house this is happening with? How long has this been happening? What type of bulbs are you using? Were you using incandescent bulbs before? And then did you start using fluorescent or LED? Is this the only fixture it happens to? Does it happen to all the fixtures on the same circuit? Does it happen to other fixtures in the room or in other rooms? Do you have any flickering of lights in other rooms? Do you have dimmers anywhere in this room or adjacent rooms? Have you had any work done electrically in that room or in the house recently? So these are the kind of questions that I would ask. Many times when people convert from traditional incandescent light bulbs and they start using fluorescent, well, that's, even though that's a few years old, but if people start using LED, the same thing could happen, where the incandescent bulbs were fine and they worked just fine and they didn't notice any issues. And then the LEDs that were getting put in started to have a very short life. They lasted a couple of days or maybe a week or two, and then they would burn out, when everybody knows that LED is supposed to last a long time. Well, it should, but LED is very finicky about the voltage that it sees. If it doesn't see exactly 120 volts or pretty close to 120 volt, it doesn't like it, and it can burn out easily. Whereas incandescent bulbs, actually, they don't necessarily need to see 120 volt. They can see a variety of voltages. It might not be the brightness that it's supposed to be. It could be less bright than it's made to be if the voltage is low. But the incandescent bulb doesn't care what the voltage is, really. So anyway, these are the kind of questions and things that I would ask about before I replaced a fixture. Even though it seems simple, just to replace a fixture seems easy. If you know there's a problem, or the customer knows there's a problem, or thinks there's a problem, despite what they think, I would still ask, why are they replacing the fixture? Tactfully, of course. It's just because they want something newer? Is there an issue? What kind of bulbs were in the old fixture? What is the new fixture? Is it LED? Do you want LED? Are there controllers like dimmers or motion sensors on that circuit? Because there could be something else affecting the problem if bulbs or lights are burning out often. And specifically with LED, this is pretty common knowledge now, is LED does not work well with open neutrals. Incandescent, like I just mentioned, doesn't really care about that kind of stuff. It will shorten the life of an incandescent or decrease the lumen output, but LED needs a good 120 volt circuit. If it doesn't have that, it'll burn it out. And so how do you prevent that from happening? Is, well, you have to test the voltage of the wiring on that circuit for the fixture when you replace it. So whenever you replace a light fixture, regardless if you ask questions or not, always, in every circumstance, test the voltage at the fixture when you replace it. As a matter of fact, this goes for replacing devices too. Switches, dimmers, outlets, you should do the same thing. Just make it a habit to check the voltage. because generally speaking, a lot of times people that don't understand electrical and how electricity works and electrical theory, a lot of times people want to fix stuff or do things because they think that device or fixture is bad, when in fact it could be something else in the circuit, the wiring, the voltage, loose connection, loose neutral, something plugged into the circuit that's affected the circuit. So make sure you always check the voltage. Just a good habit to get into when you're replacing any parts of an electrical circuit. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.
So wanted to say thank you for watching the video today. Hope it was helpful for you. I have a lot of contact information and other social media sites you can check out. So my email is massiveelectric2014@gmail.com. There's an Instagram account at massive_electric. There's a Twitter account you can contact me through. It's at massiveelectric. I've got a Patreon, which I'm going to be adding a few videos to, specifically along the lines of training for like troubleshooting thoughts and things like that. I have a lot more videos I want to add to that, and that can be done through the Patreon. I've got a few consulting accounts started through Clarity, Upwork, and Moonlighting, which you can find. And I also have, when we start a blog on Medium and Blogger, I think, for now. So I've got an account started for those, and I'll have some thoughts there. I am going to be doing some freelance copywriting. So for any business-to-business web services, particularly in the electrical industry, electrical publications, websites, manufacturers, contractors, wholesalers, retailers, I will be doing some copywriting, and I'll have ways to make myself available for that, so you can contact me through my email if you are interested in that. And so hope this video was helpful, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.